Few figures in history evoke such a chilling blend of fascination and revulsion as Vlad III, better known as Vlad the Impaler. Born in 1431, Vlad ruled the Principality of Wallachia, nestled in the heart of modern-day Romania. He's remembered as a ruthless tyrant who inflicted unimaginable cruelty upon his enemies. His preferred method of execution, impalement, cemented his gruesome reputation throughout history. Vlad's name, whispered like a dark curse, conjures up images of forests of impaled victims, their bodies left to rot under the watchful eyes of carrion birds. Yet the story of Vlad the Impaler is not one of simple barbarity. It is a complex tapestry woven from the threads of ambition, treachery, and defiance against overwhelming odds. Vlad's reign unfolded in a period of intense turmoil and uncertainty in Eastern Europe. The Ottoman Empire, a rising power in the east, threatened to engulf Wallachia and its neighbors. Within Wallachia itself, powerful boyar families vied for control, their endless intrigues and betrayals tearing the principality apart. It was in this cauldron of conflict that Vlad forged his iron will. He learned early on the fragility of power and the ruthlessness required to survive. His methods were brutal, often shockingly so, but they were born of necessity, shaped by the violence that permeated his world. To understand Vlad the Impaler, one must look beyond the grotesque legends and delve into the historical context of his time. Only then can we begin to grasp the complexities of this enigmatic figure, a man revered as a national hero by some and condemned as a bloodthirsty monster by others. Vlad's early life was marked by instability and danger. His father, Vlad II Dracula, ruled Wallachia as a vassal of the Hungarians, sworn to defend the kingdom against the encroaching Ottomans. As a token of loyalty, Vlad II sent his two young sons, Vlad and Radu, to the Ottoman court as hostages. For Vlad, the experience was traumatic. He witnessed firsthand the Ottomans' might and cruelty, their opulent court masking a core of ruthless ambition. While his younger brother Radu adapted to life in captivity, even embracing Ottoman customs, Vlad seethed with resentment. The years spent as a hostage instilled in him a deep hatred for the Ottomans, a hatred that would shape his destiny. In 1448, Vlad II was assassinated by rival Wallachian boyars, aided by the Hungarians who saw him as a liability. Vlad, now a teenager, was released from captivity and thrust into the maelstrom of Wallachian politics. With the support of the Ottomans, he launched his first short-lived reign as voivode of Wallachia. However, his grip on power was tenuous. The boyars, ever treacherous, conspired against him, forcing him into exile in Moldavia. These early setbacks hardened Vlad's resolve. He learned that to survive in the treacherous world of Wallachian politics, he needed to be as cunning and ruthless as his enemies. He vowed to reclaim his birthright and avenge his father's murder, no matter the cost. In 1456, Vlad returned to Wallachia. His eyes fixed on the throne, he had secured the support of a small army of Moldavians and disaffected Wallachian boyars, but he faced formidable opposition. The incumbent ruler, Vladislav II, was a puppet of the Hungarians, backed by a powerful faction of boyars. Undeterred, Vlad unleashed a campaign of terror that shocked even his battle-hardened contemporaries. He stormed through Wallachia, his forces leaving a trail of impaled bodies in their wake. The boyars who had betrayed his father, those who had conspired against him during his first reign, were hunted down and mercilessly executed. Vlad's brutality was not merely a product of bloodlust. It was a calculated strategy designed to break the will of his enemies and consolidate his power. He understood that in a land riven by intrigue and betrayal, only fear could guarantee obedience. His reputation for cruelty preceded him, sowing terror among his enemies and deterring potential rivals. By 1456, Vlad had seized control of Wallachia, finally claiming the throne that was rightfully his. He entered the capital, Targovista, not as a conquering hero, but as a vengeful spectre, his shadow draped over the land like a shroud. His reign of terror had just begun. Vlad's reign as voivode of Wallachia was marked by relentless brutality. He ruled with an iron fist, crushing any hint of dissent with swift and merciless punishment. His preferred method of execution, impalement, became synonymous with his name. Victims, often still alive, were impaled on sharpened stakes, their agonizing deaths serving as a grim warning to any who dared defy Vlad's authority. Forests of impaled corpses lined the roads leading into Wallachia, a gruesome testament to Vlad's ruthlessness. Vlad's cruelty was not reserved solely for his enemies. He meted out harsh punishments for even minor offenses, believing that only through fear could he maintain order in a land rife with treachery. Thieves were impaled, liars had their tongues cut out, and those who disobeyed his laws faced unimaginable tortures. Stories of Vlad's cruelty spread far and wide, recounted by terrified travelers and chronicled by horrified ambassadors. He became a figure of legend in his own time, his name whispered in hushed tones from the courts of Europe to the bustling marketplaces of the Ottoman Empire. While Vlad's brutality earned him a fearsome reputation, it often overshadows his other qualities. He was a shrewd strategist and a capable administrator who implemented significant reforms during his reign. He understood that a strong and prosperous Wallachia was essential to withstand the looming threat of the Ottoman Empire. To strengthen his position, Vlad broke the power of the boyars, the traditional rivals of the Wallachian princes. He replaced them with loyal followers from among the lower ranks of nobility and even commoners, rewarding their service with land and positions of authority. This policy, while effective in consolidating his power, made him many enemies among the old boyar families who resented their loss of influence. They would eventually play a key role in his downfall. In 1462, Vlad faced his greatest challenge. Mehmed II, the Ottoman Sultan who had conquered Constantinople, turned his attention towards Wallachia. Mehmed, angered by Vlad's refusal to pay tribute and his massacre of Ottoman envoys, led a massive army into Wallachia, determined to crush the defiant prince. Outnumbered and outmatched, Vlad resorted to guerrilla warfare. He refused to meet the Ottomans in open battle, instead harassing their supply lines and launching lightning raids on their camps. Vlad's most audacious attack came during the night attack, where his forces infiltrated the Ottoman camp, aiming to assassinate the Sultan himself. While Mehmed escaped, the attack sowed chaos and confusion among the Ottoman ranks, demoralizing the Sultan's forces. Despite his valiant efforts, Vlad could not ultimately defeat the Ottomans. Betrayed by his allies and facing overwhelming odds, he was forced to retreat into the Carpathian Mountains. Vlad's retreat into the Carpathian Mountains marked a turning point in his fortunes. Abandoned by his allies and facing enemies on all sides, he became a pawn in the power struggles between Hungary and the Ottoman Empire. The Hungarians, initially wary of Vlad's brutality, saw an opportunity to use him against their Ottoman enemies. They lured him into a trap, arresting him on trumped-up charges of treason and imprisoning him in Visegrad Castle. For 12 long years, Vlad languished in captivity, his dream of a free and independent Wallachia seemingly crushed. The once mighty Impaler, reduced to a political prisoner, became a ghost, haunting the corridors of his Hungarian prison. Despite his imprisonment, Vlad's legend continued to grow. Tales of his cruelty spread throughout Europe, embellished with each retelling. He became a figure of fascination and horror, his name synonymous with unimaginable cruelty. In Wallachia, however, Vlad's legacy took on a different hue. Despite his brutal methods, he was remembered by many as a just, albeit harsh, ruler who had defended his people against foreign invaders and internal enemies. He was seen as a protector of the Orthodox faith against the encroaching Ottomans, a symbol of Wallachian resistance against foreign domination. Monasteries he had founded or supported during his reign remained centers of learning and spirituality, their walls adorned with icons depicting Vlad as a pious ruler, his impalement of Ottoman soldiers depicted as righteous acts of war. Centuries after his death, Vlad's legend took on a new life in the realm of literature. In 1897, Irish author Bram Stoker published his now iconic novel Dracula, drawing inspiration from Vlad's life and the folklore surrounding him. While Stoker's Dracula borrowed heavily from the historical Vlad's reputation for cruelty and his connection to Transylvania, it also incorporated elements of supernatural horror, transforming the historical figure into a fictional monster, a vampire who preyed on the living. The success of Stoker's novel cemented Vlad the Impaler's place in popular culture. albeit in a fictionalized form. The name Dracula, once whispered in fear and reverence, became synonymous with the seductive but terrifying figure of the vampire, forever linking Vlad's legacy to the realm of the supernatural. Today, Vlad the Impaler remains a figure of enduring fascination, his life and reign a subject of historical debate and popular intrigue. He was a complex and contradictory figure, a ruthless tyrant who was also a skilled ruler and a fierce defender of his homeland. His legacy, a blend of history and myth, continues to captivate and horrify us centuries after his death.